chills run down your spine. You break into a cold sweat. Your heart begins to pound. You are afraid. Tonight, on Scariest Places on Earth, the Village of the Damned.
They call us one of the most haunted small towns in America.
I just can't go in that basement.
Oh, God.
The most haunted site in Alton, McPike Manor. Who would dare to spend the night at a voodoo-cursed plantation?
There is no stigma attached to seeing a ghost in New Orleans.
The spirits involved with voodoo, they want to take over your body.
A night in a haunted fort.
I think they're still here and they're still suffering.
8,000 mummified corpses.
I warn you, don't go down there.
What makes a place scary? If it's the sheer amount of unexplained activity, then Alton, Illinois is one of the most frightening places on Earth. In the 14 square miles that this small town occupies, residents say that nearly every square foot is haunted.
Hey, how you doing?
The population of Alton is about 35,000 people. The people of Alton are a hometown people. The folks here in this community really love to talk about their town.
There are some things people don't want to talk about.
Mark Twain always called Alton a dismal little river town. Now they call us one of the most haunted small towns in America. People don't really see, when they first come to town, what kind of lurks below the surface here.
Reports of paranormal activity run rampant throughout the town.
If I had to pick a list of some of the most haunted places in town, the Unitarian Church would be somewhere near the top of that list. The Mineral Springs Hotel was built in 1914 by the Lours brothers. Story has it that many of the guests who checked into the hotel, I guess you would say, have not checked out. Another of the dark elements to the city of Alton is the fact that the very first state prison in Illinois was located here. Terrible things took place in prisons back at that time, and eventually it was closed down. For years after, the park where the prison was located was supposed to be haunted.
How can one small town have so many haunted sites?
There must be some connection as to why Alton is so haunted. There must be one common thing. Now, unfortunately, we don't know what that is.
A team of paranormal investigators come to Alton to help unravel the mystery.
We all have PhDs in parapsychology, and my background in my education is in telecommunications. Anything like a person, place, or thing, an object, can be directly haunted. Entire towns can be haunted.
We have a lot of people who will call us, you know, I'm afraid of what's going on. I want to know why this is happening to me.
We're trying to investigate it the best way we can with the most modern technology possible.
This is called the optic nerve. It sees in complete darkness, and it sees on a specific frequency that allows us to see the entities.
We built the Cyclops 3000.
In total darkness, we can walk around and see anything that's in the room as far as any entity goes.
So these are some of the tools that we've designed ourselves. They're personal designs, which no one else has, and we find entities with them quite quickly.
The investigation begins.
The state prison was the first state prison in the state of Illinois. The conditions were deplorable, totally unsanitary, water running through all the time, mud floors. For us to begin to even try to understand what the cruelty, what the suffering, what the inhumane actions were like is impossible.
The investigators attempt to document paranormal activity at the prison wall.
Our best advantage is to not let the entity know that we're there and come in total darkness.
Okay, there goes one right there. It's moving around the wall. Looks like we've got 2 orbs coming from the back side of the building.
We saw something like a proto-phantom that came through about this brick. It looked a lot like cobwebs. We noticed it was trying to avoid the cameras as much as possible. I think there's a lot going on here, you know. There's something very haunted about this location.
The investigation advances to the First Unitarian Church.
Where else but a church to better prove that there's an afterlife?
I've always suspected that the whole phenomenon of the church being haunted or whatever started with Philip Mercer, who hung himself. He was a minister here, and in 1936 he hung himself in the church building. When I was first called as the minister, the first thing I did was come in the sanctuary and just say out loud, "I'm the minister here now, and please don't bother me." This room feels like it's alive. There's a sense of breathing, like the whole room is breathing. It's just the only way I can describe it, and it's frightening.
What do you think, Jim? Did you see it in here?
I didn't see anything. You guys?
No.
No. Let's go check out the basement.
Yep.
I just can't go in that basement. It just feels like something doesn't want me in there. I don't want to be in that room. I don't like to go in there alone. So do you want me to go in there anyway? It's just really, I just don't.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Oh, I see one over here, guys. We ran into a couple entities that we had just seen as we came through the door.
There's definitely a couple of them here.
There's at least 2.
I'm never going to go further than here. This is as far as I'll go, right here.
I would say that this place is definitely haunted.
There is some spirit in the church after all.
The investigation shifts to the old Mineral Springs Hotel.
Right here is where we have this mysterious puddle appear from time to time. It could be in the middle of the night, during the day, and one of the weird things is there's no active water lines running through this area. A few years ago, we do tours here almost every October, and one time a lady had a video camera. We actually got this on tape while we were coming through. She actually caught the puddle on camera. It scared a lot of people and really got them thinking about it. From time to time, there's an entity leaks water in this area. As you can see, there's no pipes or any active water running in this area, but we'll find a pool of water, a puddle of water in this area every now and then. As you can see right now, it's dry, but it can happen either day or night, any time of the day. This next area we're going to be going into is where we really got water here. Does anybody have any questions?
The investigators were drawn to the site of the old swimming pool in the hotel basement.
This is the intruder. It's a radio-controlled truck with a wireless infrared camera. When we think a place is too dangerous for us to go in, we'll send a truck in.
People have said that they've seen a man in a three-piece suit. Particularly at this end of the pool is where they say it's happened.
And now we're going to put it down in the swimming pool and see if it sees anything.
Well, what's that?
Was anybody walking down this aisle?
No, there was nobody else in here. We got a pretty interesting shadow that came walking across the pool wall.
There's no angle we can get on to duplicate it, but something walked by there.
You'd almost have to be 10 feet tall to get that image there.
We know that there was no one else in here. We know that there was nobody in the pool. I guess you could draw your own conclusion.
In one of America's most haunted towns, all roads lead to McPike Mansion.
At the time that I bought the house, I did not know that the house was haunted. The house had such a negative reputation that one guy said that it should be burnt down and sprinkled with holy water.
A local news crew had a terrifying experience at the mansion last Halloween.
11 News at 9's Patrick Clark introduces us to some real-life Ghostbusters.
We were looking for a story for Halloween, something different, you know, about haunted houses. Somebody had mentioned the McPike Mansion. This is the place that is filled with entities.
Look at what the paranormal detectives say was a ghost behind us. Skeptical? We were too. After all, it looks like dust.
Dust just doesn't do that. Dust is very flat. These are completely spherical and round.
We thought, yeah, sure, whatever. It'll make a good story. So we headed into the house. One of the things they said was, you'll notice as we head in, you'll suck the juice out of your battery. There's, you know, they drain energy from whatever you use. We head in the door, and probably not even 5 minutes into our shoot, Teresa's battery went dead.
Normally I would get 2 hours of shooting on a camera battery, and these fell after 20 minutes, I would say, or less. To me, it seemed like it was something that was here that made the batteries fall.
Nothing really happened for me that really made me believe until we got to the basement. I was standing in a doorway, and we're almost ready to leave, and I was disappointed because nothing had happened. And just as we're about to leave, I get a chill up my back. And I'm like, ugh. And it was still with me. Like, I took at least 1 or 2 steps, and it was still with me. It was one of those chills that, you know, you kind of shake it off and it goes away. But it didn't go away.
Like in my back, or like in, I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird. It's not a normal cold.
Of all the different haunted stories or, you know, kind of spooky stories we've ever done, this is one that I had an experience that really kind of shook me.
In the basement of the McPike Mansion, we were tracking an entity that we believe likes to pick up the dust. It's very foggy. It swirls. You generally don't run into fog in basements of homes. It just doesn't happen.
What he saw was something called a dusty plasma. But in a dusty plasma, it has to pick up the debris in order for it to be seen. We're talking about something that's very, very large, and it's actually alive and moving.
That cellar really gave me an eerie feeling. It was a very cold feeling. Frankly, I'd rather not have that chill again. Yeah.
Patrick Clark reluctantly agreed to go back inside McPike Mansion with the paranormal investigators.
Let's go do this.
You want to face your fear. You want to be able to go and see if there really was something there, or was it all in your mind? I guess we'll find out. You know, this is a perfect set for a haunted house.
It sure is.
I wonder what this house was, you know? You want me to lead the way, I guess?
Yeah, just go on and lead the way.
Yeah, sure. You go on down first. We'll follow. Oh, wow, it's cold. Yeah, wow. That's really cold. This is like Freddy Krueger basement. Wow, it's cold. Oh! Dang it.
A little nervous, huh, Patrick?
Yeah. It feels colder almost like 10 degrees colder right in this area here. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm letting my imagination run wild. What do you guys see?
There's a couple of orbs that have been around Patrick, so I'm not sure, but I think they like you.
Can you make sure they don't follow me home?
No, we don't guarantee that.
What was that? I'm not insane. Everybody heard that noise.
Oh yeah, we heard that.
Sounded like something fell down the stairs.
Yeah, I think we should probably go up at least to the next floor and see what's going on there.
I cannot go in that room without getting sick. We call it the sad room.
It's creepy. Hello? Hello?
Hey, smell that?
There it is.
What do you smell?
You smell lilacs. You can smell it right now.
I'm getting major goosebumps.
What was the name of the woman, Sharon, Sarah, who you said she wore like perfumes or things like that?
She's trying to contact one of us.
If you can smell her, then she may be...
She's trying to contact you.
She's trying to talk to
directly.
you.
That's
That you, Sarah?
If you have something to say to us, your microphone is open.
You just had an entity pass right in front of you, went right through the doorway.
Oh my God.
It's all right with you guys. I think we've seen enough tonight.
But the ghosts of McPike Mansion weren't finished with the crew.
This is the classic anatomy of a haunting.
I don't want to go back in.
This was the first time, actually. It threw something at us that we weren't really expecting.
Yeah, tonight was a little different than what we normally get here.
Our preliminary...
Whoa! Oh my God.
What just happened?
Just right now, just seconds ago, the power line across the street...
it snapped.
Ignited. It snapped and ignited and burnt through both power poles. One power pole is down. Right there, the power lines are down.
That was weird. Yeah, that was weird.
I declare this property pretty well haunted.
Through the investigations that we've had here in Alton, we've noticed that a lot of the buildings seem to be built around the same time. Even the limestone brick seems to be the same. The only one that we really have a problem with is the Civil War prison. It was built much, much earlier. It doesn't fit the puzzle right now. We don't know quite where to put that into the equation.
Historian Sonny Irwin uncovered a common link between the haunted sites.
About 1865, latter part of 1865, the prison was actually closed. Many of the walls were taken apart. Some of the stones were used throughout the city of Alton. They were moved all around Alton. They were used for foundations. They were used for walls.
The only conclusion we can make at this time is that the horrible death and disease that happened at the Civil War prison may have embedded itself into those limestone bricks. That emotional content has been recorded by the stone and still could be affecting the buildings that sit on top of it.
That may very well be the common link for the hauntings.
In New Orleans, no one is surprised to find playful spirits or ghosts in their homes. It's considered charming and acceptable. But what happens when those spirits are dark and sinister? What happens when those spirits take over a home like Magnolia Lane Plantation? And what happens when an unsuspecting family like the Eatons of Massachusetts decides to spend their time there?
All this week, the Eaton family draws closer to their night of terror.
Hi! So you scared yet? Yeah, well, getting there yet.
Hey. Right now we're on our way to the airport.
We're in New Orleans,
Yes, we are.
See you tomorrow.
Bring on the ghosts.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
There's just certain places where the veil's a little thinner than other places as far as between one world and the next world. And this is just one of those places, and so it's easy to communicate with the dead.
There is no stigma attached to seeing a ghost in New Orleans. If you see a ghost in your apartment, there's no problem telling a friend about it. They won't think you're crazy, try to lock you up or give you intense medication or anything like that. They'll just listen to your story and then tell you their story.
Well, a lot of Creoles grew up with both religions. Certainly I did. There's a belief in saints in the Catholic Church, for instance, and some of the same saints with different names show up in the voodoo gods.
In voodoo, the world isn't separated into antagonistic opposites where everything is either black or white, good or bad. In voodoo, opposites intersect and reveal and explain one another. Each of the voodoo spirits has a graphic image that represents their essential force. These are called veve, and they're usually drawn in cornmeal on the ground during a ceremony.
If you're going to be a Christian, you have to believe in spirits, because we believe that we are composed of body and soul. And that our soul is eternal, everlasting. And not only is our soul eternal, but being immaterial, once it's separated from the body, it is literally capable of being anywhere, anytime. And therefore, you have to believe in spirits. You have no choice.
The spirits of those involved with voodoo, they want you. They want to take over your body. They want to live again. And the only way they can live again is through you. And stories come from this part of the world. New Orleans, the epicenter of it all. That people are doing things that they normally wouldn't do. Suddenly, they are acting in a way that is totally unlike them. And it's because they're not alone.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, I'm not going, no.
Fort Pulaski, Georgia is a well-known location for those who enjoy faithful recreations of famous Civil War battles. Civil War reenactors routinely staged the violent conflict that took place there in 1862. But the reenactors know enough to get out of Fort Pulaski before nightfall. No one spends the night there because Fort Pulaski is haunted.
I remember I turned a corner, and I thought he was a reenactment soldier. He was, fully dressed up. And when I looked back, he turned and passed through the wall.
Fort Pulaski on Cockspur Island, Georgia, was once considered an impregnable Confederate fortress.
At daybreak on April the 10th, 1861, the Union batteries opened up. Pulaski was hit continuously by over 5,000 shells. At least 10 or 12 each minute were just tearing gigantic holes in the brick.
In 1861, after a 36-hour cannon siege, Fort Pulaski fell. 600 Confederate officers were imprisoned under tortuous conditions.
worm-infested rations, losing weight every day. They died of diseases such as pneumonia and dysentery and starvation.
When you have a tragedy like this, it just stays here forever.
Many believe that the spirits of the dead rebel soldiers are still roaming Fort Pulaski.
Well, when I first walked in and I felt the oppressiveness and the cold, my hair was standing up on the back of my neck.
I think they're still here and they're still suffering.
3 history students have volunteered to investigate the claims of supernatural activity at the fort.
I'm a student at Armstrong Atlantic State University. I think this is really cool to be able to get to do this, but I'm still a little scared.
Having seen the ghost before, I mean, it scared me pretty bad that time, and I don't really like being scared that much.
I'm cool about it, but I am terrified.
Hi, my name is Bobby Weil. I'm anxious to look around. How about you?
The gunpowder room where prisoners were kept in isolation.
Even today, if you spent too much time in this room, you'd go crazy. I get a sense of pounding on the door. There's pounding on the walls. There's people sitting down. They're taking both their hands and they're hitting themselves in the head. Does this room scare you? Nervous? Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in here by myself. I don't want either.
The parapet, the most haunted site at Fort Pulaski.
When I first came here and I walked into this area out here, I saw a man walking. And it was light when we got here, so I see it during the day and I still see it in the dark.
The prison, where many Confederate soldiers suffered and died.
And this was not a good place. A lot of bad things went on in here, a lot of death. This was a cruel place. The guys that were in here really died a horrible death. And there are spirits that are still here.
The psychic leaves, and the fort is secured for the night. The students choose to sleep in the prison.
I keep hearing noise.
Now you pulled it in.
Y'all don't hear that?
11 p.m. The students hunt for the source of the sound.
That sounds like the jail door. Yeah. See, that's the noise I heard. You didn't hear it? It's like a door closing or like some chains rattling. I heard that. You see? Oh my God. Okay, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm not either.
Midnight. Lori thinks the sound is coming from the parapet.
Up there. What is that? When I
first came up the stairs, it sounded like someone was walking up behind me. It was just really creepy, and then when we got up there, it sounded like someone was running around, and I kept hearing footsteps. I mean, I just wanted to leave.
A ghostly sighting on the parade grounds.
You see it? You see something? I hope you go. You see the kid over there? You see it? I see it. Oh my God, I do. What's going on? I see it. It was just, the head was popping up.
I saw somebody out.
I saw someone walking. I saw it running. I think my mom's playing tricks, because I'm running up there. It seemed like somebody else was up there.
3 a.m. The students seek the safety of the prison lockup.
I can't believe I am in a trap room where people were tortured. Okay, don't bring that up. Are you looking? Yeah. Why? Because I'm more scared with my eyes shut. I'm gonna cry. Oh my God.
Come on, let's go.
If I ever come back here to this fort again, it will definitely not be at night.
The scariest moment for me was probably seeing that guy on top of the platform. There was somebody walking up there.
I've never really seen a ghost before, so I didn't know if they were real or not. But after tonight, I kind of think they are.
Palermo, Sicily is not a place where you would expect to find 8,000 mummified corpses. But deep inside Palermo's Capuccin catacombs are the remnants of a bizarre and secretive process used to preserve the dead for eternity. Some have never been photographed. Most appear here on television for the very first time.
Palermo, Sicily. The Capuccin Catacombs. 4 centuries of death on display.
I wouldn't go down there unless you want to have nightmares for the rest of your life.
I warn you, don't go down there. We have noticed that everyone who comes here leaves changed forever.
Those are real bodies.
The bodies of over 8,000 souls line the corridors of the catacombs.
When they first built this monastery, one of the problems that came up was what to do with the dead. Remember, at the time it was important to the living to face the dead. And this visual reminder helped them reflect on their own mortality. The Capuchin order believes strongly that the body should be preserved for the coming resurrection. And they developed a highly successful mummification process. And although Capuchin relics can be seen throughout Italy, nowhere was the process more successful or more popular than it is here in Palermo.
The secret to the embalming process is hidden in the depths of the catacombs.
This is one of the 30 drying chambers. In here, on these large grills, there is room for 6 or 7 corpses. The room was sealed for 8 months while the corpses drained. Then they were washed with vinegar and stuffed with straw. Finally, they were dressed in their clothes and placed in the corridors of the catacombs. The catacombs were initially reserved for the monks, but later extended to dignitaries and patrons of the church.
The corpses were carefully organized by class, gender, and age. Throughout history, the catacombs have spawned many legends.
During the Black Plague in Palermo, 40 monks were seen walking in procession in the middle of the night. When the Father Superior was asked why he had sent the monks out, he was amazed. No monks, he said, had left the monastery the night before. The people then understood that saints were buried in the catacombs and that they had manifested as spirits to do penance for the city in hopes of ending the plague. Mummification of the bodies stopped in 1860, when the process was outlawed by Napoleonic decree. However, the catacombs received their most cherished saint in 1920. When the body of a little girl was brought in by her family, she had been mummified by a secret process which to this day remains a mystery even to the Capuccin monks. Up until recently, Rosalia's sister often came from Rome to visit her. She hadn't been able to create a relationship with Rosalia in life. In the catacombs, she was able to be touched by her in death. Among the visitors that come down into the catacombs, some people come unprepared, and they have to turn back quickly because the experience is too upsetting. But I think for everybody, you can't come to the catacombs without being faced by the profound and personal question of who we are in life, and the inescapable mystery that is awaiting all of us at the end of our lives.
Magnolia Lane Plantation. Sounds beautiful.
I don't even want to go in there.
That's the dying room.
A mother's worst nightmare.
This used to be my house.
What the hell was that? That was not me. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Are people in the house?
And I'm feeling like he's right here, right next to us.
Prison of lost souls.
I just hear screams. It's very traumatic. Oh my gosh.
So what makes a place scary? Is it a disturbed spirit? Thousands of corpses? Or a voice from beyond the grave? Most often it isn't what we can see, but what we cannot, the unknown. That's what you'll find in the scariest places on Earth. I'm Linda Blair. Good night.
Sky Digital customers can head for the red and press the red button now to find out what's on next on UK Horizons and other channels in the UK TV network.